Welcome back to the Gee and Ursula Show, Tuesday morning edition. Governor Inslee has announced that 3 counties in our state, including Pierce County, will have to roll back to phase 2 at the end of this week. Was that decision made fairly, and what impacts is that going to have? Joining us now is Pierce County Executive Bruce Dammeier. Good morning, Bruce.
Good morning, Ursula. How are you this morning?
I'm doing well. I'm guessing I'm doing better than you are because I understand you're pretty frustrated about this.
Well, I think I am frustrated, and I think the people of Pierce County are frustrated. Certainly we all want to get beyond COVID. There's no question about that, and I know that Gee's got a lot of personal experience with that recently. But for us, I think the reason there's frustration is, we've got the vast majority of our residents who are over 65, those that are most vulnerable to a really bad outcome, they're vaccinated. We've got a situation where our hospitals are telling me, including as much as yesterday morning, that they've got ample capacity to care for anybody who gets sick. They have less than half the COVID cases, or about half the COVID cases that they had in December right now. And as we look at the vaccine distribution throughout the state of Washington, we have been highlighting the fact that we think Pierce County has been falling behind for over 2 months, and we're still falling behind and further behind. And by my estimation, we're 55,000 vaccines behind the state average for a county by population. So I think the people of Pierce County have reason to be frustrated with being rolled back to the point where it's going to harm some of our business. It's going to cost people their jobs when those things are really important right now.
Bruce, so Gee and I had a spirited debate about this just a few minutes ago, and my question for you is, the state had come up with the criteria to move into different phases. Do you feel like and Pierce County fell out of it, do you feel like we should just get rid of those metrics altogether?
Well, I think there needs to be some idea of just if we're getting a significant outbreak. If the numbers in Pierce County were skyrocketing, like they were going up pretty quickly back in December, that was a legitimate concern. But we're in a vastly different position than we were back in December. Our cases are climbing. They're climbing modestly. I think we should be dealing with that by continuing to mask, continuing to socially distance, follow all the precautions. But we need to really up our vaccination game to get back where the state average is. We've been getting shorted, and we've got to address that. Those are my keys. With regard to hospitals, the frustration is by the previous hospitalization metrics, we pass with flying colors. By this changed one, we don't pass, and nobody can really explain to me why we don't, what's causing it, so it's hard to have an action there for us to take.
Earlier, of course, last year, there was a, quote, glitch when it came to unemployment securities and people getting their unemployment checks, so there was a glitch there. And now I'm hearing that there is a glitch now with vaccinations in Pierce County getting their vaccinations. I wanted you to talk about why. What's the answers that you've gotten as to why you guys have been shorted the vaccines?
So, Gee, thank you for that question. We've been raising this issue since, I think, February 17th. Well, that was when we first started noticing that we were falling behind our neighboring counties in terms of the percent of our population that's been vaccinated. So every time I ask the question, I get, it's the process, it's a technical glitch, it's all these things. But to your point, it's frustrating when you look at the numbers on the Tacoma-Pierce County Health Department website, the state's website, Kings County's website. They all have different numbers moving in different ways. So to the degree that people lose confidence in those numbers, it's harder to get people to buy into what we're trying to do as a community to stay healthy. That is why my focus is on the State Department of Health's numbers, on the percent of populations that are vaccinated. That's where it shows, and we've been falling behind further in the last week and a half, and that's where I'm asking the governor to up our vaccination, give us 15,000 more. We want immediate eligibility requirement, relaxing the eligibility requirements, and we want 15,000 more vaccines per week for the next 4 weeks to help us get caught up to the state average.
Okay, so now the rollback has happened, and according to what they're saying it doesn't start until Friday. Bruce, help me understand something. Like, if we agree that every day matters for businesses, in particular in Pierce County, why are we waiting? Why can't we just start now for this rollback? Why do you have to wait until the 16th on Friday to get this going? Explain that.
Yeah, it is. The frustrations you have, Gee, I can tell you are magnified by every business owner in Pierce County. I can tell you for the restaurants in particular, right? They ordered food based on projections, and now they're looking at what do they do with that. So there's a lot of those same frustrations. The other thing is, in this case, we are right next to King County and right next to Thurston County. And as you well know, those borders, a lot of people cross those borders every day. So in my mind, what I wish the governor would have done is if he's going to roll back Pierce County, then give us that immediately relaxation of our eligibility, have everybody in Pierce County immediately eligible, and give us more vaccines. Give us some help to try to get this issue resolved. Otherwise it could spread, right? So why wouldn't you step up to try to help us address the issue? And I'm going to ask the governor for that specifically.
Bruce, it's every single day we get tons and tons of emails and texts about people talking about how, and saying all sorts of names, calling the governor names, saying what a horrible job he's done. If you were governor, what would you have done differently than Governor Inslee? And do you think you would have had a better outcome? What would you, because it seems like everyone seems to know what the governor should be doing as if he were working in a vacuum, that he doesn't have a whole team of experts. And I'm just curious because no one's ever happy with the decisions.
Right. And so let's be clear. This is we don't have any direct experience with doing this before, right? So to some degree, we are all figuring it out as we go along, and the governor is trying to do that. So I give him credit for trying to do the best for the state of Washington. And I have supported many of his decisions in the past. But this one in particular, where it impacts 3 counties and where you've just changed the metrics, and oftentimes when you change how things are measured, you don't understand kind of the full implications of that. And for me, when you look at like hospitalization, when our hospitals have plenty of capacity, they're assuring me that they can take care of our community, yet we're failing the hospitalization metric. That doesn't make sense. And to have something that doesn't make sense, but the result is Pierce County is going to be rolled back, businesses are going to be hit hard, people are going to lose their jobs. That's the kind of thing where I think he should have said from the big picture, this doesn't make sense, I'm going to not do it, right? At some point you have to say, what's about to happen isn't the right thing, and it's going to really severely impact the second most populous county and Whitman and Cowlitz as well. We need to look at this more carefully and understand what's happening in Pierce County, not just go on blindly following the kind of the metrics that they established.
Bruce, we are convinced that the governor listens to our show because we're always about a day ahead. So maybe he's listening right now and he's here.
I hope so. Thank you very much, Gee. Thank you, Ursula.
We appreciate you
being able to join your listeners today.
Thank you.